have a set amount of time on this planet. 73 years on average, give or take, which means if you're currently in your 30s, you're actually halfway through that journey already. However, if you're fortunate enough to make it to your 80s, maybe even your 90s, you're still a third of the way through that journey. Now just think about that for a second. How fast has your life gone up until this point now? It's in the blink of an eye, right? Now, I didn't make this video to scare you. I made this video to wake you to just how precious your time really is. For example, if you have children, by the time they're 12, you will have spent 75% of all the time you're ever going to spend with them. Because from about 13 onwards, children tend to gain a bit more autonomy, a little bit more independence, and we see them less and less and less over the course of time. This is all the more reason to cherish those moments with them as they're growing up. To not be so hard on them, and if there is rupture, to ensure that there is also repair. Here's another thing. If you're fortunate enough to have older parents or grandparents still alive, it might feel like we have forever to spend time with them. However, in reality, it's actually far less than you think. Ask yourself, how often do you actually see your grandparents? Is it once a month? Is it twice a month? Let's say, for example, it's once a month, give or take. Over the course of the year, that means we'll see them on average about 12 times a year. Now consider their age. Are they in their 70s? Maybe they're in their 80s? Let's consider, for example, if they are 80 or they are in their 80s and they are fortunate enough to make it to their 90s, and you see them on average about 12 times a year. Over the course of a 10-year period, that's 120 days, 120 occasions that you'll be seeing them until you'll never get a chance to see or talk to them ever again. But on average, we don't tend to spend days with them. We tend to spend 2 to 3 hours on a visit with them. So if you take those 3 hours and times them by 120 occasions, you end up with a grand total of 360 hours. That's 360 hours or 15 days. That's just over 2 weeks of allocated time in order to see them until you never see them again. And when you put it in perspective, that's not a lot of time, is it? If you knew you only had 15 full days left in which to see them, what would that time look like? How would you spend that time? What would you ask them? What would you do? Would you just sit there and play on your phone whilst you're in their company? Or would you listen to them like each second was more precious than the last? Again, I didn't make this video to scare you or unsettle you. I made it to wake you up to the fact that time is the only currency that we spend without knowing the balance. So don't waste it with petty fallouts or having your boundaries crossed, because I can assure you that the one thing that hurts more than loss is regret. It's not too late until it is. This is your sign. Now, off you go. Seize the day.